Hello, hello, hello. Somebody's also. I can already see some lot of discussions already happening with respect to what. Hope Jijo sir will be there today. Jijo sir is here today.
पिछले दो
Ah,
बार से तो बच्चे बहुत अपसेट थे जीजो दैट यू वर नॉट देयर.
I know. Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome.
ऑलराइट.
Mukund Neeraj. Hi. What is it? CL portal is creating lots of problems. Oops. Please always come out to be wrong. What is that? VRC little tough.
PJs parajumbles.
Okay.
Alright, so very good evening all of you. We bring to you the countdown cat 4 analysis. With me is Jijo sir and GP sir. No introduction required of them, obviously. So we are going to begin with it, but before we begin with it, what was your first impression about uh, how the paper went for you? Okay, DILR solution is uploaded. They have already been created. They are under edit and will be uploaded today. Okay, DILR very easy. QA also easy. VARC moderately difficult. Easy paper. VARC tough. Video quality is too high. ये भी प्रॉब्लम होता है क्या?
समझा नहीं. वीडियो क्वालिटी इसकी हाई का क्या मतलब है?
So it's like probably the size is big, so it might get.
Okay.
So guys, let me address this issue that a lot of you are putting across, that there are some technical glitches on aspiration.ai. I agree to that. We are facing a little bit of technical timeout, downtime right now. We are trying to fix it as soon as possible. It will definitely be fixed. All the issues that you have faced while taking this week's mock, we'll try our level best to fix all of those issues by the time you take the next mock, and uh, we will see to it that your experience the next time is flawless. Achha, the voice is echoing from my end. Okay, so I think Jijo, you can begin with it. What's your first impression of VRC?
It was like that. In the sense, the challenges that was given to from a, I'm saying from a question point of view, it was like it was there. It was not like it was extra difficult. For example, like CDC 2 or 3, it had little trouble and issues, but it was manageable. If somebody who had kept their cool and understood the passage should be able to navigate and would have got a reasonably good score. So that's sort of my take of the RC.
I think Jijo, over the we reacted to the last couple of papers of VRC and decided to make it easy, but it turns out to be the most difficult section yet again.
No, no, I don't think that the last couple of papers technically. So, I think one thing that ever happened with respect to the last paper was that the passages were slightly difficult to comprehend. So that kind of created that issue, and it was never the intention to make this paper easy as well. Of course, at the end of the day, we are looking at the cat and trying to create papers in such a manner that it poses a certain set of challenge so that students can learn from those challenges. So from that perspective, I don't think that it was by design to make a paper easy. It was by design to create certain challenges which is normally seen in the cat, and hopefully students can learn from these are after all preparation tool, right? So these are, so that will be my take, Ravi.
So I think we can directly move into the first thing. So this is a comparison between CAT 2020, CAT 2021, and CDC 4 at the various percentiles. I think Jijo has changed the designs of all of these.
So I thought a little visual will be better. Visual.
Right. I think it is easier throughout at
Hmm.
all different percentiles. It seems to be easier throughout than cat 2020 and cat 2021. I think DILR has a very major role to play in this, because the DILR, I think most of the students felt comfortable this time around, which is not generally probably a case in any other mock. But yeah, this time DILR, being a little bit on the easier side, would have helped boost the scores by 5, 6, 10 marks. And that is why, that is the difference you can actually look at, you can actually find over here.
Yeah, Ravi, this would be similar to what possibly was CAT 17. If
Correct.
you go back, CAT 17 was a easier paper, and till, if I remember correctly, CAT 16 99 percentile was about 152, 153 marks out of 300. CAT
Correct.
17 it jumped to something like 175 marks.
Correct.
I'll go along with Gijo. The intention is not to make a difficult or easy paper. The intention is to give you different kind of papers to throw different challenges at you every time, and hope that you will be able to live up to those challenges. For example, I would say in this kind of a paper, if it's an easy paper, the biggest challenge is ensuring your accuracy is high. In a difficult paper, when you don't have when you end up attending fewer questions, you don't move fast and your accuracy is by and large good. But in an easy paper, the biggest casualty can be accuracy, because in your momentum you keep moving faster and faster, and suddenly you find you have got 3 4 extra wrong answers, and that can be a big letdown, because in an easy paper, it is your accuracy which will make all the difference rather than the attempts, because everyone will have a high attempt in an easy paper.
So this is the section wise comparison of scores at different percentiles. I think the 80th percentile barrier, as you can see, for CDC
Eight,
4,
80th percentile barrier is not there in the slide
not
because
there
it
in the
was
graph at all.
the
85th percentile
the
is
graph
at.
didn't get fit. It was like it was so I removed 80th percentile.
And then
So
Ravi, if you look at this paper is the same as, let's say, CAT 2020 in verbal till about 97 percentile. Now,
Correct.
what
correct.
this is telling us is that the level of difficulty of the paper, that is such that to go to a high score, you need to be really good, and that is where you find the probably students who are very good and VRC have really gone up. But DILR is universally one odd question higher than CAT,
Correct.
and at 99.5, it's 2 questions extra. So, which means one extra set is what people at the top end have been able to attempt. Actually, this was the paper in which I was struggling to think which one to attempt, which one to leave. This was a paper in which I felt that probably all four were doable sets, though interesting sets, but definitely doable.
So when I look at this, I think if I look at like what you said, GP, if I look at this paper, if you look at the VR section, it by and large mapped to the CAT 2020 scores.
Yeah,
So that is the VR section. I think the DLR, like you said, is like one question in most of the percentile range. It's about one question, couple of questions, which would be one extra set probably. I think the game changer here, at least for this, was QA. I
QA,
mean,
absolutely.
it just didn't drop. So while at 99.5 percentile, it was very comparable to the 2020 scores, and even at 90th percentile, comparable to the 2020 score. Uh, but going to that, it still offered everybody lot many questions, which then means that one thing that probably would have happened is that when you take this test, right? So if you have a preconceived notion in terms of pre-target or before you start taking test, you create certain target in the mind that may create a
Right.
problem. Here maybe somebody who would have probably never would have got 30 marks in maths would have got 30 and felt, oh, I've done tremendously well. When in reality, eventually you see that you're in the 85th percentile. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. That not to have any pre-decided target, and for to take it on just focus on the questions and do all the questions that you can do and leave the question that you can't. That's all.
That's it. So this is probably what happened in 2017 and 2014 also. That the CAT came out easier, and those who had a target in mind ended up solving fewer questions while it was an easier paper. So when it is an easy paper, boss, ज़्यादा बनाओ. When it is a difficult paper, boss,
मोमेंटम
कम
खींच
करो.
लेगा तुम्हें. Don't just slow down, because what I find many people doing is कि यार ये हो क्या रहा है, there's something wrong. If I'm able to attempt so many questions, कहीं पे कुछ problem है, they start double checking every question and hence lose out on time and attempts.
Another fact of the matter is that you never know whether it is easy or difficult, right? So this is all post-mortem.
Yeah.
Matlab, when we create the paper, you knew this is going to be the distribution, right? Huh? So let's just say somebody from a point of view of when somebody sets a paper, you get a certain idea in terms of what is likely going to be. And of course, when you're taking the test, you never know eventually what is a good score and what is a bad score. The only thing that you know is the question on the screen, whether I can solve the question or not. And if you keep that focus on the question on the screen and keep making good decision every single time, whether to either leave the question for later or leave it completely or to solve it immediately, if you make the decision, I think that is what your focus should be when you take the test, rather than trying to figure out whether paper is easy, paper is difficult, what others are doing, what others are not doing, what could be the likely cutoff, what would be the good score, bad score. I think the focus has to be there. If someone had to keep that in mind, then they would have taken advantage of the QA. And also maybe another thing that I want to point out is, I don't know how many of the students looked at the VRC again, felt tough, and felt that, oh, this is going to be CDC 3 once again, my life is over, and then did not, and then carried that baggage to other section and ruined it. So such a thing is something that you guys should avoid. So that's something that I thought I should say.
Hey, it is not very tough also, Jijo, when compared uh, to CAT 2021. The VRC, there is a difference of one question at every percentile. That's it.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially the QA which has gone up,
Correct.
and which is why the reason I said it is almost like CAT 2017, and Ravi, you also rightly pointed out CAT 2014 was similar. That was a paper, 34 questions. There were large number of students who did 28 plus questions. Some even completed the entire paper. A larger number completed the entire paper also. So,
Correct.
so if the momentum is in your favor, don't just think twice. Keep going ahead with it. And यहाँ पे वही है, QA का कहानी अच्छा हो गया है. And DILR, I think uh, I'm hoping that people have been able to pick up that Venn diagram. Possibly, I think everyone would have attempted. And then the DI set again would have been fairly easy, time consuming possibly, but definitely easy.
Right.
So that brings us to the VRC section. We have already
Okay.
seen comparison.
So I want to get back to one. So let's just keep in mind. Let's take the 95th percentile as sort of benchmark, or maybe that's about 10 questions net correct. And if I look at the 99th percentile, that's about 14 questions net correct. And the 99.5 percentile is the 15 question net correct. Okay. And then the bare minimum cutoff that you're looking at would be about 7 question net correct, right? So your 80 and 85th percentile. That's about the 7 question net correct. So let's keep this in mind, and let's look at the passages. Okay, now obviously all of you by now know this graph. For those of you who don't know, we look at accuracy, percentage accuracy versus percentage attempt. So all the columns are the percentage accuracy, and the lines that you can see, the tip of that would be the percentage attempt, and that's also given there. At the outset, that you actually see here in this paper you have seen 12 questions which are of sort of medium level, and you hardly had any sort of difficult question. This would not have been the story in CDC 2 or CDC 3. In CDC 2, the reds were a lot, right? So which then means that it was still an issue, which means that there were the way in which the options were created is not really difficult, but just difficult enough to confuse people. And let me start with the VA section first. Right. So how many of those questions that I can look at? So at the outset, you see that you can see one question which had about 60%, 61% accuracy. That is the paragraph summary questions. And then you had got three, which is the medium one, couple of them from paragraph jumble and one from odd sentence. And we had four, which is the difficult one, and out of which two were paragraph summary ones, which means that would mean that there's a possibility of taking a negative marks from there. But one other thing that you should also realize, that for paragraphs, jumble and odd sentence, there is no negative marking, because there is no negative marking even if you attempt. I think the attempt will be slightly more. So I would assume that, let's say, a medium in with no negative marking would have been kind of manageable and easy. So to me, the total number of questions, so you the two paragraph jumble question and one odds and ends question, one paragraph summary question, that's about four questions out, right? Now, it all depends whether you made that couple of mistakes with the paragraph summary question. My gut feeling is that you would have. So that will be on a worst case scenario. I'm taking about 10 marks from there, and anyone who would have probably got less than 10 marks, and that would mean that that is a real problem, right? Less than 10 marks is that's I'm talking about the bare minimum that should have taken from the VA section. The big problem that you will have for many of you is that let's look at paragraph summary, and if you look at the solutions to paragraph summary questions, the paragraph summary questions had options which were very appealing but had issues. Wrong answer option had issues. Now, if you don't get enough, if you don't give that enough time for the VA, just enough time, then that would have been a little bit of struggle there. So that's about sort of four questions that you can get, three to four questions from there. Uh, and when I come to passages, basically everybody loved the second passage, and the second passage was very nice to read. There was nothing there in the passage, right? So it started with this whole small story about long termism and the fact that you should look at the future, and very high attempt. But all the four questions had some trap, for some sort of a trap. So for example, the first question needed people to understand what opportunities mean. Other question needed to understand the argument really well. It was not difficult at all, but it was just enough to trap people in. And you look at the second selection that people made, what the one on cats, and this was also not so difficult as a passage. Yet you look at that, you got one green in the second one, you got two yellow and one red. And if you and then the third passage, either the academic vocabulary passage or ecological fallacy passage, you can actually see the questions. They are the one that offered you greens, right? And and this is something that I've been telling every time I meet you. I'm telling you this, that there is no shame in leaving questions. Okay, so if for example, I would have I am making a decision on solving a particular passage based on how difficult I feel the passage is. But I still don't know whether I can comprehend the passage. I still don't know what are the questions. I still don't know what are the options. Now, even if, let's say, you in your mind you only solve three passages, okay, you start by saying that you solve only three passages. Even in that particular case, you have no business getting stuck in any question. And if you have done that, you can take out the best from here, right? So if I, let's say, I picked up, so I can actually see that opportunity of getting two questions each from every single passage, right? Two. That's about eight questions. Eight from here and four from there. I can see 12 questions. That's about 36 marks. That that will get you past. So the percentile that you want to get, and of course, if you if we can get more number of questions correct from this passage, you will do really well. One a very interesting thing, at least for CDC 4, was this: the academic vocabulary passage and ecological fallacy passage would have been the slightly denser passages. But at least there were a couple of questions there which said if you understood the passage, about 80% understanding, we got a broad idea of the passage, you take the 6 marks. It was there. And the passage which was easy to read in long termism, and even for example, the passage on cat, it said, okay, now this passage was easy to understand. I'm just going to test you your reasoning skills, and that is what has happened in this particular test. So the design was in such a manner that when the tough passages was given, you were given an option. So tough passage is given. You said there were question which said that did I understand the main idea, big picture? Okay, you take marks. There was a couple of easy questions. When the passage was easy, so a couple of questions were challenging. So my suggestion for all of you is, of course, I'm hoping that you guys have gone through the solutions. I have explained the solution. And this particular mock test, you'll get a great opportunity because the questions are not unnecessarily tough. The options are not unnecessarily tough. There are traps in every single option. I think that going through the solution, you'll get a great opportunity to learn and treat mocks like those an opportunity to learn. And hopefully, you can improve as you go forward. Yeah. So, on what basis you measure something is easy or difficult? What I feel, Dinanand, what I feel at that point in time, right? So for example, when I'm reading the passage, I think this is something that I've said during the solutions as well, the recording solutions. Let me say that once again: is that I don't understand this. That when I read the passage, I worry about timer. When I solve the questions, I don't worry about timer. I am willing to spend extra time on questions for questions. In options, I go back to the passage, come back. My only worry is when I read the passage, and when you have to do the opposite. I should not be worried about the timer when I'm reading the passage because I want to read the passage at the pace of my understanding. Let me understand the passage. Let me take 4 minutes. Let me take 5 minutes to read the passage. But when I come to the question, two to three things will happen. Right? Either I look at the question, I look at the options. Okay, I mark the answer. All right. Number two, I look at the question, look at the option. I could eliminate a couple of them. I'm confused between two. I'll have to go back to the passage and check. I come back, I've resolved it. Great. The third is a problem. I looked at the question, look at the option. I'm confused. I'm going back to the passage, coming back. I'm still confused. And at that point in time is when I move on. Right? That at that point in time, if I'm spending extra time, and before you know it, you know that you're spending 2 minutes, 2 minutes. All you need is to spend some 2 minutes in, let's say, four question. You would have spent 8 minutes, and that 8 minutes you would have saved. You can read the fourth passage. So the key thing is you have to trust your ability. I think it's about what you think is easy or difficult, right? So you're reading the passage, you have to read the passage and understand what the passage is trying to tell you. Make the best decision as you go along. Don't get stuck in questions. And if you leave, I think the big problem is that I've read the passage. I don't want to leave the question. You can even tell yourself this: I'm going to come back to this question later. Okay, so if I have time towards it, I'll always come back to the question. So that would be my advice. Sir, not able to attempt all passage within time. What to do? You'll have to figure out why Ayush are you not able to attempt all the passage within time. I can tell you this. There are only two reasons why you're not able to attempt all the passage. One, when you read fast or read faster than a pace of a comprehension, and then you don't understand the passage, and then you go to the question, and then you're lost. Second is that you're getting stuck in question. So the way in which you would want to do is that you read the passage neatly. Right. So I'm not saying that you should take 10 minutes reading it. You will not require 10 minutes. Read the passage in about 4 minutes. After every paragraph, reflect on what the paragraph is telling you, the previous one. Understand the skeleton of the particular passage. Go to the question. Deal with it. If you can't deal with the question, if you feel that the question is troubling you, question never troubles you. Option troubles you. Just move to the next one. Even if, let's say, I skip three questions, right, in a passage. I only got 3 marks. It's still fine. Like, the skipping would mean that I would also save time. So 4 minutes reading the passage, about the 1 second, 1 minute in dealing with three questions, and 1 minute I got that mark. In about 6 minutes, I got 3 marks. I moved to the next one. No, and I can always come back. I can save time. I can come back later. So that's something that you should consider. Yeah. If there are any other question, I can pick those. VRC 1000 is a waste of money. Really? My God.
ठीक है. Each one to his own.
I know.
So, so I don't know who that person is, but ठीक है, maybe it's not working for you. Hard luck is all I can say.
दीनानाथ चौहान है सर, विजय के पापा है ये तो.
अरे, विजय दीनानाथ चौहान. चलो ठीक है,
चलो.
ठीक है. चलो इस पे अंदर देखो. End of the day, Jijo, I just like to reiterate what you said. If you are not able to complete the paper, only thing you need to do is check out where are you wasting time. If you find that you are not wasting time at all, then maybe that is your speed of working, and you need to just realize the fact that उतना ही attempt होगा. फिर टेंशन मत लो.
Okay.
That brings us to DILR. I think GP sir has taken this as the GP sir has attempted DILR and uploaded the solutions. The solutions, if they are not uploaded already, will be uploaded by tonight. The solutions have already been recorded, eh, any which way. So the story is, as we discussed right on the first slide, that it was slightly easier as compared to CAT 2020 and CAT 2021. One question, two questions ka difference. That is because if you look at CAT 2021, in every paper you could have seen there is, in each of the slots you could have seen that there is one question which is on the slightly difficult side or impossible side, while the other three were, one of them was easy and two doable. But this was a paper in which all four sets were doable. So it was, this had given the scope of student to the students to attempt more than two sets, to go to attempt three sets completely, 4 plus 4 plus 6, 4 plus 4 plus 6, a net correct of 14 questions was possible in this paper. Attempting three sets or more than three sets, in fact, was possible in this paper. That is probably why we can see that there is a difference of one or two
Six
questions
plus
at
six
each.
plus four was also possible.
Correct. So let's look at the individual set wise attempts versus accuracy over here. GP sir.
Yeah, I think what I'm happy about is about the fact that the students have picked up the second and third set. The second set is a four set Venn diagram.
Students have
Sec-
not picked GP. That's like 25%,
Sorry, the
20%.
accuracy is high. Sorry, I'm
Ah,
sorry.
okay. Ah, okay.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Oh, so only about 30% people, 25 to 30, have picked up second set. That to me is a disaster. Okay, so if you have not attempted the set, please do it. And if you, the only reason not to attempt this would be you don't know how to handle a four set Venn diagram. Similarly, if you look at the fourth set, uh, it will take time. It's a 15-minute set. It will have some calculations, but it's a doable set. And anyone who's looking at doing two sets only, anyone who thinks he or she is not strong in DILR, this was only DI, no logic required, just to make a table, do the calculation, and end of the story. Even if it takes 20 minutes, I'm okay doing it because it's 20 minutes, six question, 18 marks. And I've always believed in this paper cat, if you can get 1 mark per minute, in 40 minutes, if you can get 40 marks, it's a super performance. Look at this way, three sections, if you 120 minutes, if you can get 120 marks, invariably you are above 99.5. So and DILR 40 minutes, 40 question, 40 marks is definitely very very high. So third set of data was a set of data which was meant for those who are not strong in DILR and are willing to go through the process and make a full table and solve the entire set. To me, that was what set 3 was all about. However, if you are someone who wants to do more than that, then possibly set, instead of set 3, you could have looked at the other three sets also. Okay, but end of the day, as Ravi said, 4, 6 was definitely possible. And to me, if I have to do 4 and 6, possibly second and third set will definitely figure out there. Okay?
There is
I'm
something.
Yeah,
So
Jijo.
there is something interesting in the third set. If I look at the attempt for the first two questions, that is a high, and there's all the easy questions. The attempt became low.
Yes,
What happens?
आई थिंक वो स्ट्रगल हुआ फिर छोड़ दिया लोगों ने स्ट्रगल
दो
हुआ
सॉल्व
नहीं
किया
हुआ है उन्होंने कहा यार होगा नहीं छोड़ देते हैं okay? but I'm a little surprised with this kind of a thing for the simple reason yeah ऐसा कुछ था नहीं if you make the table completely you'll get all six answers in fact I think the one of the last two questions I think the fourth or the fifth or the sixth question was a little tricky as such not very difficult but a bit tricky.
I think, in fact, the low attempt and accuracy rates in this first set, is a testament to the fact that about 80% of the students, 70% of the students haven't even tried to attempt CAT 2021 slot 1 till now.
Yeah, yeah. So Ravi, actually, I'm not too disappointed with students not attempting set one.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm definitely disappointed with students not attempting set two. A four-set Venn diagram is a mechanical exercise. Okay,
correct.
you just do it as per the instructions. And if you look at that particular data set, all the four questions were definite answers, which clearly told you that this is a data set which should not have multiple cases and you should be able to solve all of them. The same thing was true for the food processing company also. All six questions were either theta or definite answers, and it was very, very obvious there will not be any multiple cases, which means the only thing I need to do is do my percentage calculation and then fill up the table. It's a big table, I don't deny that. But if you look at the CAT paper a couple of years ago, in my slot, I remember I had a big table to fill up. Okay? So to me, it is the second set which I'm definitely disappointed. Third set, as Gijo said, that decline in percentage from 50% down to something like 30% is something which is definitely not up to the mark. I'm glad with the fact that most students were that about half the students have been able to pick up this last set. To me, last set was doable. Doable cases had to be made, but again, I think what made it easy was the fact that only one case. The question again are definite answers theta, so which very clearly told you कि हाँ ठीक है हो जाएगा, multiple cases नहीं है. ठीक है.
Everybody's saying that set 3 was lengthy, was it?
Yeah, set 3 was lengthy. I don't have any doubts. But to my mind, it is six questions. Even if it takes me 20 minutes, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
In fact, I think the first two questions were doable without putting a lot of effort into it. That's why you see a higher attempt.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a question from Bhaskar. Bhaskar, in Venn diagram, why was English not considered as set 12? Well, Bhaskar, everyone had to take English. It was a compulsory course. There was no option. Spoken English was a compulsory course. So why will I worry about it? The
And
issue
it
was
was
the students had a choice only among the remaining four. They could pick and choose what they wanted. And they also
and
10% chose not to attend any one of them.
it was also mentioned that the following data pertains to the remaining four courses in that. So we anyway did not have to consider English in the Venn diagram.
But I think we should consider English when reading. I think it's a reading comprehension issue there. Bhaskar, I think.
Yeah.
More than a data interpretation issue.
Vaishali, if you are okay, I think yeah. Set 3 was lengthy to be 20 minutes. I don't think it should take 20 minutes, but my point, Vaishali, is even if it takes 20 minutes, I don't think it's an issue. Just go back to the data set. Six questions. Can I get 18 marks in 20 minutes? In 20 minutes, I am at 90 percentile. Why am I getting bullied? Okay. First set was lengthy. I don't have any doubts. But first set, if you get the logic, it's a Sudoku that you are playing. It's a Sudoku that you are playing. To me, if for most of the students, it would have for the right approach is likely would have been do set number 2, 3, and 4. Though I would be a little more inclined towards set number 2 followed by set number 1 and 3 or 1 and 4. Because to me, it is six questions. I know Sudoku. I know how to work around this kind of data set. So the way I look at it is set number 2 to me was a 7, 8, 10 minute set on the outside. Set number 3 would be a 15-minute set. Set number 1 would be a 15-minute set. If I look at how much time will it take? Okay. So to me, 40 minutes, three sets was definitely doable.
Did people miss set number 2? I just want to find out. Did people miss set number 2? Did anyone miss set number 2 because you don't know how to solve four set Venn diagram? Was that an issue for anyone?
That's it. This is said if you know how to draw a four set Venn diagram, there is no scope of missing it at all. If you know, you know. That's it. All right. So you go through those of you who missed it because you don't know how to draw a four set Venn diagram. I think it is imperative that you go through the video solution once, so that once you figure out how to draw a four set Venn diagram, you'll find that four set Venn diagram questions are typically the easier Venn diagram questions, because three set Venn diagram में लोग इतना खेल चुके हैं इतने सालों से, they tend to give tricky and hard questions in that. Four set Venn diagram में छावा चिल questions होते हैं, वो बन जाते हैं.
ये उसके अलावा जो है, see if you look at the four set Venn diagram, each cell is very clearly what it is. In
Correct.
a three set Venn diagram, when you say both A and B, it includes A and B as well as ABC. That is
Correct.
not an issue which is there in a four-set Venn diagram. So, which is why I find four-set Venn diagram very easy. It has got those 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 9, and 3 plus 3, 6, 15 cells. Those 15 cells, there's no overlap. So, when you say cell 1, it is only cell 1, it is not overlapping with anything else. Cell 2 is very clearly two of them. It is not two as well as three, as is the case with the three-set Venn diagram. So that makes life very, very simple.
Yeah. Four set Venn diagram is going to have 2 raised to 4 minus 1 blocks. And those of you know permutation combination will know the logic.
That's it. That's what it looks like. This is one of the ways of drawing it. If you
And
if you go to
there's a
Google
best.
and search, then there are more complicated ways of drawing it also. Be my guest, but this is the simplest way to solve it.
There's a most practical way of drawing it. People create all kind of ovals and circles and ellipses. To me, that's a waste of time. This is the simplest way of working with this.
Yeah. So that brings us
Yeah.
to quantitative ability.
Yeah. Before you start quantitative abilities, Ravi, there's a question for you. Why quant was not similar to cat paper? It should be realistic. Okay.
Uh,
See, cat over the years, every time if you look at how different cat 20 was from cat 2021, the scores and the
हमारे
percentiles, you can see that cat खुद का सगा नहीं है भाई.
if I look at if
हिमाद्री
actually if I
हिमाद्री
look at
मेरा सवाल तुमसे बहुत सिंपल रहेगा. कौन से कैट पेपर की बात करो? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. कौन से कैट पेपर की बात कर रहे हो? This
See,
is
cat
similar. It can only be similar to one of those papers. It cannot be similar to all of them. Because
if I,
unfortunately, all of them are very different.
see
If you had,
if so sorry, yeah, sorry.
yeah.
in
So
fact
if you
cat
look at CAT 16, which was supposed to be tough, CAT 17 was the other extreme. CAT 16, out of 34 questions, people were struggling to attempt 14, 15, 16 questions. CAT 17, people were attempting 27, 28 questions. So which CAT paper are you talking about?
Another
In
thing that
fact,
you
the
look at
similar thing happened in CAT 13, 14, 15, sir. 13 was a 60 question paper. It was a
Yes,
tough one.
20 into
Then
3.
14 migrated to a 100 question paper, and it was a very easy paper. And 15, because it was a 100 question paper, people expected it to be easy, and boom, game over paper tha.
so,
Especially
so
DILR. So
Ravi and GP, if I look at, let's say, from 2015 to 2021 papers, let's forget 2015, let's take 2017 because those papers are available and everybody
correct,
can check this. You will see that there is one section which was more or less consistently moderately difficult, which is DLR. Right. If I look at the BARC, a section 2017 easy, 2018 difficult, 2019 difficult, 2021 difficult. That's how the level went.
correct.
If I look at the quant, it is easy, very easy. Went down, then went up once again, then came down, went down, and then went slightly up. So if I, for example, look here, if you look at the 85th percentile, even between CAT 2021 and CAT 2020, that's a difference of 5 marks between
So,
that.
and so Himadri, the way to look at
I'll
it,
give this feedback. I'll give this feedback to Shivku sir. He,
yeah. So
ऐसा बोल रहे
Himadri, the way to look at is this paper was possibly closer to CAT 14 and CAT 17 in terms of quant. And
हैं.
what Devolina is asking for is a paper which is similar to CAT 16 in terms of quant.
Correct.
And CAT 16 was I am Bangalore paper. I think that's why people are like, oh, why are you putting I am Indore paper? Put I am Bangalore paper.
So, Karthik, while I agree that there are four
Yes.
questions less in CAT 2021 as compared to 2020, uh, अगर आप 40 मिनट में 16 क्वेश्चन कर सकते हो तो 22 क्वेश्चन के पेपर में भी 16 ही कर सकते हो और 26 क्वेश्चंस के पेपर में भी 16 ही कर सकते हो. Because the number of questions were reduced not because of level of difficulty. The number of questions were reduced because they felt that people were not able to complete the paper, right? In either case, we are not solving all questions.
If you put the same logic, no, the
Yeah,
number of questions in the BRC was 26 and then it came down to 24, but the score improved in VRC, no.
yeah,
So it's not,
absolutely.
so it is. it might have a little bit of impact on DLR, but that is not the issue. I do understand. I think we do understand the paper was slightly easy, but your job is not to crib that the paper was easy or paper was difficult. When the paper is given difficult, you cry. Paper is given easy, you crib. Okay, so at the end of the day, what is important for each one of us is to see that whatever was the paper did, I could do the job that I was supposed to do. Eventually, what cat is going to give is what cat is going to give. We are not
and and
soothsayer. Huh.
and none of us knows. And if we knew what cat was doing, we would not be in this business. If we knew what cat was going to give you, we would be in a completely different business. Okay. And as you just said, your job is whatever the paper is to be able to get the right score based on your capability. Your card score should reflect in the actual score. It shouldn't be after the paper you say, yeah, paper आसान था और card score paper ही नहीं पहुंचा मैं. That would be an issue. And this person Myron is Jijo after us a lot. बहुत बात बोल रहा है कि यार कॉस्ट बीआरसी का रिड्यूस कर दो. मायरन ज्यादा लिखने से कॉस्ट रिड्यूस नहीं होगा, बढ़ जाएगा.
यार
Simply
मतलब
means
क्या यार
इसकी डिमांड बहुत है.
so first of all, you're going to pay 20 lakhs to the college. I'm just charging 5,000 bucks. No. Say-
नहीं नहीं
and
दूसरी चीज ये है, what Myron is telling me, there is huge demand, so Jijo possibly you can look at increasing the cost also.
see the
वैसे
see
एक्चुअली
the
कॉस्ट वैसे एक टेक्निकलिटी है, कॉस्ट जो है तुम्हारे लिए है, उनके लिए प्राइस है.
See, at the end of the day, I didn't go to IIM Calcutta to do social service. No, let me put it straight bluntly to all of you guys. I'm sure that you are doing a MBA, not to do social service. No, so I'm saying that this is what I'm going to say
चलो,
is that it is the fees. It is the fees. I'm not selling tomatoes, right? So if you want to pick it, you pick it. If you don't want to pick it, don't pick it. That's what I'm going to say.
चलो, let's go to Quant now.
In fact, when I was recording the solutions for Quant, sir, I figured out, I felt one thing that, when I was recording the first 10 odd questions, I was very comfortable. And then I figured out that tough question piche aa gaye. And that is probably why also that the scores are so high as compared to the previous mocks or the previous cats. Agar ye shuru ke if these 4-5 questions would have been somewhere here, then the scores would have probably gone ahead with gone above by only 2, 3 or 4 marks at the
The,
most, not at a difference of 10 marks as such.
there is one more thing. If I actually look at the section arithmetic, algebra, geometry, and the rest of them, your difficult questions are areas that people normally skip, right? So if I look at
Correct.
arithmetic here, all those arithmetic questions were 9. So I'm sure that by now people would have been good in arithmetic, and here they got an opportunity to get those 9 out from arithmetic, and therefore naturally the score became high. I think that is the outcome. I think it is not the distribution obviously eventually you see that there are 16 questions which was from which was sort of easy level, but in that arithmetic was all the arithmetic questions. I think the extra green, no, if you look at 80% in all accuracy, right? You look at arithmetic question number question 54, question number sorry 45, 47, then you have 52, you've got what else 61, and these are I mean these are very easy. I think these are all sitters, and people didn't miss it. I think if I look at generally attempt everywhere, barring maybe question number 64, I don't know what happened, and people did not. And look at for example the greens of let's say algebra question, last one. People just did not attempt. So if the greens were on areas of your discomfort, I think that the story would have been different. This might sort of my take.
Right. So, anything else, sir, GP sir, from your side?
I mean, not really. इसमें,
All right, then that ends the session for today. Thank you, thanks a lot for bearing with us. I apologize again, just like I did at the very beginning of the session. I apologize for the issues that you are facing on your aspiration accounts. We'll try to make it better as soon as possible. Our tech team is relentlessly working on it every day, every night, so that they tackle all the issues. So, most probably by the next time you take the mock, all these issues would have vanished. And thank you for bearing with us. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
Ravi,
So
just a couple of things. There's
Yeah.
a question from Sayan. Is it possible to vary the distribution of question feature marks like other than 24, 20, 22? I'm not sure. I don't know, Gijo, what you and Ravi think. But knowing that CAT is likely to give us this only, I'm not sure we should vary. But if required, we can definitely look at it. What's your point of view?
Yeah, many subs, I think that cat actually got a sort of good sense with respect to the 3 hour paper. When it came to 2 hour paper, they still I still don't think that the 24 20 22 is a good distribution from a paper. So yes, there is a merit in it. Whether or not I'm Bangalore is going to do it, I don't know. But I'm sure we'll get a mock paper from them. No, I don't
Yeah,
know
but
when
that
it's
will
going.
come sometime end of October. So that will give us
To
just about 4 weeks
what
before CAT.
what we'll obviously try and do is, obviously not going to tell you what we're going to do with the mock test, but this is something that we are already discussing in terms of variation. We don't want to do too many variations. Already we are doing variation with level of difficulty. We do variation with respect to this is too many experimentation. But yes, there is a merit. Probably here and there we'll try and see. But even if let's say the variation is not going to be much, it'll probably 24 will become 25. So it'll not be much so that
See,
it's going to
66
impact
will
you.
become at best 70, Gijo. I don't see it
Ah,
going to 75. To me,
yeah, yeah,
66 will become 70. I agree with you. I felt after the paper last year that 4 sets was possibly a little less for DILR.
correct.
So personally, I felt that means there should have been 5 sets, maybe about 24 questions, or to me it was what, but that's fine. So to
So
me, at 24, I think the possibly the highest they are going to go to.
even if let's say one good possibility, I think the what they should do is that they should have 5 sets with 4 questions each and give
Correct.
Yeah,
20. And now that is an advantage to you. So therefore, even if let's say you're dealing because you got one more set, right? So you get more choices. Even if therefore, even if you're solving the fourth question, getting the fifth set, sorry, fifth set is an advantage to you. So yeah, but that could be something that probably they should do. I don't know whether
yeah,
IIM
possible.
Bangalore is going to do it.
Okay. Okay, couple of
I think
more questions. Let me just a second. I think I'll just answer these couple of questions. Aman, I have not recorded the Jugaad solution video for this paper. I'll do it tomorrow. I have not looked at the quant, so which is why I did not comment anything. But I'll look at doing it tomorrow. The LRDI has been recorded. It will probably get uploaded. I've recorded it only this evening around 5:30 is when I finished recording. So which is why probably there's some delay. But it has been recorded. Will get uploaded by end of the day. Let me just see. Okay. Chalo, I
right.
think that's fine.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. For those of you who are joining us regularly and taking mocks regularly, we will bring up the star batch for you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
soon,
So
and we'll
so
announce that.
And
so we've just finished the discussion last week, so we're going to start pretty soon the program, and we will give the logic. I
yeah,
don't when is the date,
this
Ravi?
We'll start from the 10th of September. Jiju.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay. So one last thing before we close. Last 2 days, Ravi and I and us, we conducted the race to 99, the next round at Bangalore, Raipur, and Bhilai. Okay, so 3 cities done. Next weekend there's a Noida, Gurgaon, and where else do we have, Ravi? Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, and Gwalior,
And Agra.
Agra, I think. Agra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, wherever you are, if you are in that particular city, please attend that session. We are taking forward what we did on 14th, 15th August, and out here, what we are doing is we are taking the base as the CAT 21 paper slot 3. So before attending the session, please go through slot 3 paper for all the 3 sections. And yes, it getting conducted in Calcutta as well as in Mumbai. I think Calcutta is 11th of September, Mumbai is 18th of September. Okay. And one of us will definitely be there in each of those locations. In some locations, there will be more of us, but at least one of us will definitely be there. Ankit, Chandigarh, the date has not been finalized, but it is there in the list.
So Sarah is asking what is the percentile range you will pick for the star batch. See, basically we are looking for Ravindra Jadejas, people who will work hard, right? We don't bother. We are not really going to care about the percentiles or the scores that you are there that you are getting. We only care about the consistency you show, because when you show consistency, we will try and help you more. So that is the philosophy of the star batch. So don't worry about it. It is not paid either. If you are a test series student or a classroom student of ours, then if you have taken enough mocks, that logic of the mocks, everything will be released and shared with you on your aspiration accounts by Thursday, and you'll be able to see how it is going to be. The entire logic will be shared with you guys on Thursday on your aspiration accounts. So with that, I think we can put a closure to this session. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot for attending. Thank you, Jip sir and
Bye.
Jiju. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye. Good night.